Good morning, everyone. Leah Dixon here from Port Coquitlam, British Columbia. I am live this Wednesday morning for my regular Wednesday morning card class to go. This week, I am featuring the Happiness Abounds stamp set. This one does have some gorgeous coordinating dies, and actually I should probably go grab those, although you can totally fussy cut all the pieces for today's cards. The dies do make it a lot quicker and easier. So that's about it. Oh, I'm just hearing my voice. I forgot to turn that volume down. There we go. So I'm going to switch over to my desktop and we will get started creating. I have 3 gorgeous cards for you today, and I hope you're going to love them. And then with a $50 purchase today, well, until December 25th, actually, you can actually earn the 3 cards that we're making today as a make and take. You'd get enough stuff to make 2 of each of them. So let's start crafting. There we go. We'll join this one. And as you pop on, if you want to say hi in the comments, I'd love to know who is joining me, who's stamping with me today. All right, so our first card is this beautiful yellow rose, and I love this card because it can be anything. It could be birthday, thank you, congratulations, wedding, even. Like, it's just such a beautiful card. So I'm going to show you how quick and easy this one is to create. So in your packet, I only have enough stuff here to create 1, but in your packet, you'll get enough stuff in your envelope to create 2 of each of these cards. And we are going to start with, you'll notice that your card base isn't fully across your card front. What I've actually done is I've cut off a portion of it and die cut it using the scallop contour dies, this beautiful little label that we're going to put onto the front of our card. Then you also have a piece of Cottage Gingham Designer Series paper in here. This is the featured DSP for these cards, and it is just such an amazing pack. If you don't already have it, it's definitely going to be one of those things that you'd like to add to your wish list. And use as a purchase to get this card class for free, so you can make a ton more of these, because it is a fantastic 48 sheet 12 by 12 pack of Designer Series paper, and it covers you for all the seasons. It is wonderful, but it is unfortunately in our mini catalog, and retiring January 4th or whenever it sells out is the last time you'll be able to get a hold of it. So there we go. So we've just glued our piece of Designer Series paper right onto the front of our card. And now we're going to do a little bit of stamping down here at the bottom and start stamping our flowers. Okay, so on my sample here, I used the Best Wishes. And I think I was going to think about using Best Wishes again, but I think I'm actually going to do this one as a happy birthday, just because I know that I have a lot of birthdays coming up, and I always need more birthday cards. So I'm inking that up with Memento black ink, and then I'm just going to close this to make sure I get it positioned properly. There we go. And voila, our happy birthday is on there. So this is a great card because, like I said, you can use literally any sentiment to create this card. All right, now our next job is going to be to create all these beautiful blooms that we need. And so I'm going to need that Memento black again. We are going to stamp our flowers all over this piece of cardstock that we've got. Now I am going to try and keep the flowers to one side and the leaves to the other. And it's fairly, well, it's not super important, but it's a little bit important that you do that because of how we're going to color these. So let's see, I need that biggest bloom. I need the small bloom with the stem. And then I'm going to do 2 of each of our types of leaves. There we go. And then we also have these little guys. There we go. All right. So we've got all of our stuff stamped on here now. Now before we go and cut these out, we need to color them. And this is where I actually get to show you guys something super, super awesome. I haven't talked about it a lot, but we do have a new mini catalog coming out. Lots of you should have received these in the mail from me. If you haven't received yours yet, just reach out and ask me if I've mailed yours or if I've got yours sitting here in my studio, because I did have intentions of sending these out, or not sending them out, but like hand delivering them to the people local to me. And then this snow happened, and that really kind of put a damper on me going for walks. It's a little hard to carry the catalogs and trudge through the snow. So I might have yours sitting right here in my studio beside me. So the way we're going to apply the color to this is with blending brushes, but instead of using my very, very large blending brushes that are, quite a bit larger than these images, and getting a lot of excess ink everywhere, we are actually going to use our brand new mini brushes. And here, I'll just bring in another one to show you kind of the size difference. So it's quite a bit different in size. So we have brand new mini brushes, and check it out, the holder, so that you have somewhere to keep your brushes. And this one actually holds both the mini and the large brushes, and holds them in place so you can have them so they're not getting ink on things. And I don't know if you've ever had it where you put your brushes down and they touch the other brush and then color transfers, and it can just be kind of a mess. So we're going to use these cute little guys. I love that he's just like this cute little stand. It sits perfectly on top of my my punch storage, and it's all super easy. So we're going to start with our granny apple. So those are available in our new mini that begins on January 5th. And they're so cute and so easy to use. So I just grab that, and then I can come in here and apply that little bit of color. And it's okay that I'm like totally going off the edges. I just love that I'm not going so far off the edges, and I can be much more focused in where I'm putting my color. So I'm going to kind of make this darker at the bases than it is up at the top. And this is Granny Apple Green that I'm using for this one. And then we're also going to come in and give some color over here. Now this is why I didn't want my leaves too close to my flowers, because we are, quite messy with our application here of this ink. All right. And then same as I did with those ones, I'm just going to make one section a little bit darker than the other. And so you just do that by applying more ink. All right. And there we go. All right, so our leaves are done, and I can put my cute little brush back up in its holder. Oops. Sorry, guys, I got to stand up to be able to do that, though, to be able to see where I am, where the base is, where it tucks into. All right, so that's our Granny Apple Green. And then I used, oh, where did it go? There it is, Mango Melody as the yellow on our flowers. And so I'm just going to pick up some Mango Melody here. Now, this one I did start in the center because I do actually want the center to be darker, and then just went out lightly to the edges. And then I'm going to come back in and give my center another good little dab. Now, I love this small brush for this because I can really keep that darker center circle small. And then I'm just going to come over here to brush off some excess before I finish up this circle. There we go. So those gorgeous blooms all done up like that. All right. So now I do apologize. I'm just going to have to run over to the other side of my studio because I did not bring my dies for this with me, and I do want to use my dies to cut this out to save some time, so I'll be right back. There we go. Of course, they weren't right on top. All right, so these are the beautiful dies. We're going to use just the really basic ones today that cut out the outside edges of our flowers. So nothing super fancy. You can totally do it with a pair of snips and cut these out. But I did want to show you that this die set does have some really extraordinary pieces as well. It has two different trims. This one creates kind of like the torn notebook page, and then this one creates just like this fun stitching, and then the beautiful eyelet kind of look for a background as well. So some really fun dies in there. All right. So to cut these out, I'm actually going to grab my mini machine, and this brings me to another thing that I wanted to share with you about our new catalog that's coming, is that if you join my team during celebration, and that's for January, February of this upcoming year, if you join my team during that time, part of your starter kit, you get our regular amazing deal on your product, but you actually can also get a free mini machine, either in white like this one, or this is amazing, in boho blue, which is actually one of the new in colors for next year that we'll see starting in May. So they're kind of giving us a little sneak peek of a new color, and it's beautiful, you guys, like absolutely gorgeous. I will have one to show you very, very soon. Shipping's a little bit delayed right now with the holidays, but mine will be here very, very soon. Hi, Carmen. Thanks for joining. Thanks for watching. I hope you are enjoying the cards so far, and if you have this set, maybe even stamping along with me. All right, so I guess I could have done those both at the same time. That was kind of silly of me. So we're going to run these through, and there we go. So yeah, some really exciting stuff coming up. Not to forget, though, that we have some exciting stuff happening right now. We still have our last chance and clearance rack sale going on, and still have some great stuff available in both. We also have a brand new kit. It's these cute, cute little Valentine's boxes. And we have our new paper pumpkin that's going to be Valentine's Day cards, but with the option to add on the sweetest little heart Valentine boxes as well. But the paper pumpkin kit itself will be cards. With kind of like a lock and key theme. It's very, very sweet. So lots still happening. If you're local to me, we also have my coffee and cards coming up on the 27th of December. I know some of you have to work. It's a weekday. I am taking full advantage of being on holidays, not having to work, and I'm going to try and get a bunch of stamping done in that time. So I'm having a little coffee and cards. It's $20 or free with a purchase at my home, and we'll be playing with some current product as well as some stuff from the upcoming mini. So super excited about that. It's not too late to RSVP, and yeah, that is going on as well. So if you want more info about that, you can contact me or check out my blog, stampinwithleah.ca, and there's info there about it. All right, So let's start putting this card together. Oops. So now when you use the dies to cut that out, it does leave a little bit of a border. If you don't like that, you can always fussy cut it. I actually did on this original card, I did fussy cut, especially on this one to be able to get in. The other thing you can do is die cut it first and then go back in and fussy cut the extra that you want off. So, do it either way, or just, nobody's really looking that closely, so just don't bother and leave it as it is die cut. Okay, so to attach these to our card, we're going to need some dimensionals. Now, I don't do too many because I don't want to impact where I can tuck my leaves under. So for that big bloom, I'm just doing 2 dimensionals. And I'm going to pop that on the left-hand side of my label. And then for this smaller flower, I'm just doing 1 dimensional. And I'm kind of coming in here and tucking them under. So I have a nice little space left here where I can put some rhinestones. All right. Then we're going to get, sorry guys, you can probably hear my sister's dog upstairs barking. So then I'm going to grab myself some mini glue dots here, and I'm going to put the mini glue dot on the back of the leaf, and then come in here, tuck it under, and press it down. So that's just going to hold that in place, and that's how we're going to attach all of our leaves to this card front. So I do like to use the take your pick tool to do this. I find, then you're not getting your hands all sticky, and it's easier just to place things exactly where you want. Now, when we put the leaves on the left-hand side, we're gonna let them overhang, let them go off the edges. It's all good because it's going to be still on the card front. And so we're gonna come under here. And so this is why I didn't want to put too much adhesive under my flowers, because I want to be able to just tuck things under. All right. And then 1 up here. So those are all attached like that. And now I've shared this trick before. Oops, just smashing everything around. I've shared this trick before, but I'll share it with you guys again on how to attach something like this to a card front without having to be worried about glue and making a mess and stuff. So I'm going to flip this over and put 2 dimensionals in the far corners. And then I'm going to put this just beside so I can see where my dimensionals will still be covered by my label. And I've put them right on the edge of that flap. With that done, I can remove the backings from all of these dimensionals. There we go. And then place this onto my card front, so then it's only attached to this side. So just like that. Now we're almost finished. We just have to add some embellishments to this card. Good morning, Lila. It is a fantastic day to craft. We are unseasonably cold here in BC as well. I know you're colder, but we are unseasonably cold here. And yeah, it's just a great morning to craft. Kids are still sleeping. My parents are coming over later today, my sister. But for now, we have a quiet house. So it was excellent. I was so glad to have my live for this morning. All right. And now I'm not being shy with these champagne rhinestones. They are literally going everywhere on this card. There. So it's not truly everywhere. There's 5 of them, and they're kind of actually strategic. I've created a triangle and a triangle to create kind of a nice flow across the front of the card. All right. So that is our first card for this week's card class to go. Love that one. Now we'll bring in, oh, sorry. I can't believe I almost forgot that. We're also going to just decorate the front of our envelope. And so I'm just going to stamp one little rose on there. Uh-oh. And then I'm going to show you how I sometimes use my chamois as a washcloth, because I just put my whole finger into my ink pad. So you can actually pick up your chamois and use it to wipe down anything that you get ink on, really. Like you get it onto the outside of your ink pad somehow and need to clean it up. You can just pick this up and use it like a cloth and wipe things down and then pop it back into whatever you keep yours in. So it doesn't have to stay flat and just be used in that manner. All right, now I'm going to grab my blending brush again. Oops, there we go. And apply just the tiniest bit of color right onto my envelope. And so see how quick and easy that was to get a beautiful colored envelope done to go with our card. All right, so that is our first card. Our second card, well, actually all three cards we're using blending brushes today. And this one we're using Melon Mambo as our main color. So, so we have a ton of pieces in this card. This one is a lot of gluing, like a lot of gluing, guys. So you do have a piece of basic white cardstock in here, and it has been die cut, not embossed, but actually die cut with one of my favorite dies. It's called Stitched Greenery, and it's a full plate of literally this stitched greenery. Oh, so it won't work on fabric. You'd actually have to throw that into the washing machine to get it out. As you can see on my finger, it didn't fully lift the color off. It just removes the part that's going to like spread and stain onto things, unfortunately, Lila. Yeah. All right, so yeah, this is our Stitched Greenery, and it is such a fun die. Now, you can glue this down and it will work, but I'm always a little hesitant because it does have like those holes stitched right through the paper. I'm worried that liquid glue is going to pop through. So I do like to use my Seal Plus to attach this one, even though that does mean I have to be more careful when I am lining things up. So I like to use my Seal Plus, go right out to the corners. And the corners are especially important because you don't want your corners flipping up on you. And then you don't have to even do the full edge. You could just do a little dash in the middle, and then again right out to the full corner. All right, and full corner, and a little bit more on this side. All right, so I've just used that Seal Plus around the outside edges. Now, if when you're rolling it, you roll too far, it's nice stuff too, because you can kind of just peel it back in on itself. Like, oh, here down at this end, I went too far, so I have a bit of adhesive sticking out. I can just peel it back and pull it onto the back of my cardstock before I adhere this. So it's kind of nice in that way that you won't have any excess glue sticking at your edges. All right, but now I do need to very carefully line this up before I press it down. And I've only left myself 1/8 of an inch of a border, so that's going to be the trick now, isn't it? All right. Oops, that's very crooked. And this is where I do love my liquid glue, but that's okay. We'll make this work. So until you press down, this isn't really going to grab. So we do have some leeway in that regard. But once I've decided it's where I want it and I press it down, deal's done. All right. So I go and press that down, and this is not moving now. Especially since I use Seal Plus instead of regular Seal. All right. So with that one done, I am going to use glue for my next layer. And we're going to glue this Melon Mambo piece right to our card front. So the three cards for today's card class, I wanted to tell you a little bit more about them. They're actually 3 cards from my December team meeting. So I'd mentioned earlier that in January, starting January 5th, you can join my team by getting a starter kit, and you're going to get that boho blue mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine for free as part of joining. Well, another perk of being part of my team is that every month we do a team meeting, and it's really just a chance for us to get together and craft. I put together these little 4-card kits, and we craft together, and it's a lot of fun. And you get lots of great ideas. And then if you are a hobbyist, you've got a ton of great ideas and cards and ways to use your supplies. And if you're joining as a business person, you've got a ready-to-go card class. And so you don't have to do any of the designing. You just need to invite people over and do the prep work, and you've got a card class ready to go for them. So it's kind of nice that way, both as a hobbyist and as a business person. So today's cards are just kind of a sampling of the type of thing that we do together. We meet on Zoom and we chat, so you can be anywhere in Canada and be a part of our team. And, we do prize draws and chat about crafting stuff. And over time, we get to know each other as well. And then we chat about, personal stuff sometimes as well. And just, have a nice evening. So it's just one more perk for joining my team. Yeah. And then, of course, the other thing is that all the tutorials for these weekly card classes to go, although I don't send my team the make and take kits, I wish I could, I do post the tutorials for them each week on our team Facebook page. And so that's just kind of an additional little perk that they get. All right, so we've glued that DSP onto those 4 squares, or 3 squares. Learn to count. And now we're going to glue them. Like I said, a lot of gluing on this card. We're going to glue them directly to our card base. So the first 2, you want to try and kind of just line them up so that you've got an equal border, top, side, bottom, and middle. And that's kind of how we're going to begin. So we glue those ones down. And there we go. So just like that. And here we go. So lots of gluing. So if the boho blue free mini machine is not, the big enticement to you, but you're like, oh, wow, I want to get those weekly tutorials for free, and I want to be a part of that team and be able to stamp and have these additional card classes and stuff, you can actually join today. You just won't get the mini machine for free, and you'll start to receive all of my tutorials and stuff on our team page right away. So you can give me a shout and ask me about that. Or you can go to my blog, stampinwithleah.ca, or to my website, leahdixon.stampinup.net, and you can find information about joining on both of those sites. Okay, so that is all of our gluing. The rest of our stuff is going to be stamped and added with dimensional. So I'm going to set that card base off to the side and bring in our 2 pieces that we're going to stamp on. So I'm going to brave the black ink again, see if I can manage to not get it all over my hands. There we go. We're bringing in, there's actually 4 roses in this stamp set. We're bringing in a 3rd rose, and this one is very sweet. It's just a partially opened rose. And we're going to stamp 2 of those. And we're also going to grab some Melon Mambo ink to stamp our sentiment. I love this one. Sending many thanks for all you do. Looks like chocolate bars. Yeah, a little bit. Oh, thank you very much, Francine. All right, so sending many thanks for all you do. Here we go. In Melon Mambo. Sorry, guys, I got to stand up again. I have a really tough time stamping sitting. All right, there we go. All right, so they're nice and easy to line up. Make sure that they're straight because they're the photopolymer. I love that. I love being able to see exactly where I'm stamping. Oh, I just put away my Melon Mambo ink, and I shouldn't have, because just like in our last card, we're actually going to add our color to our roses with a blending brush and this ink. So I'm going to come in there, and I do like that I can really get a more focused dark spot on these with these smaller brushes. There we go. So beautiful. So it goes just into light pink out at the edges, and it's just gorgeous. All right, and then pop that back into my holder, and we're good. Okay, so with these ones done, again, you could fussy cut them, or you can grab your mini machine and run them through. So that's what I'm going to do. I always like the easy button. So there we go. And this one has a die that fits right around it. There we go. Sometimes I wish I had two sets, because I find I never cut out just one flower from this die set. I'm always doing multiples, and so yeah, sometimes I wish I had a second set so I could just run them through together. But that's okay. It doesn't take that much extra time. Still faster than fussy cutting. All right. There we go. And that one's done. Put my dies away. And then we're going to add these bits to our card front. And again, we're adding them with dimensionals. So bring back my card front. I'm going to put just 2 dimensionals on the back of this big old label. Maybe, you know what, I'm going to do 3 because I don't want my middle sagging. There we go. Now, when you place this one, you want to make sure that the right edge doesn't go off the card. And I did place mine so of the square above it. Okay, so keep it on the card and covering up that. And then these 2 little roses each just get 1 dimensional popped right in the middle. And then they get placed, just first one kind of tilted that way, second one tilted this way and covering up where they connect. And voila, just like that, we are done that. And we have just 3 matte black dots that get attached to this card. Just a little accent, just like that. And one more over here. There we go. And that is our second card all completed. So, oh, except for stamping our envelope. Wow, I'm not on a roll with that today. Usually I'm so good about focusing on getting those envelopes decorated. I should have been doing this at the same time I had everything out before. All right. So we've got that rose stamped. I'll grab my blending brush again. Oh, so I'm noticing that where I have my blending brushes in my studio is too close to a little poster that I've got, and my hand keeps bumping my poster when I try and take these out. I guess I'll have to find a new home for them, or a new home for the poster. All right, so there we go. Just a little bit of color added to that. And then try and pop those back in. There we go. All right, so there's our envelope all done. Awesome. All right, and now our last card. I think this one's my favorite. It actually doesn't have any DSP. Oh, thank you very much. So this one has no DSP. It's just all blending brush. But it's just such a fun card. Just love it. All right, now I'm going to leave my envelope out so that I can right away remember to do what I need to do when I'm stamping. All right, so this one uses that same flower with the stem that we used on the first card and some Memento black ink. Let's move this out of the way. There we go. So I'm going to start with my envelope so I don't forget. There we go. And now for this card, there is a little trick to it. So I'm going to start, I'm actually going to kind of line this up so I can see where my center is. And I'm going to stamp my first flower right in the center of that basic white strip. Now, my next flower, I'm going to actually stamp onto a product that Stampin' Up! Has called masking paper. If you don't have masking paper, that's okay. You can use a sticky note. I like the masking paper a bit more. So now what you want to do is you want to find the side that opens and you want to stamp on the other side. All right, so I've just stamped once on there and you can see I don't need a ton of this masking paper. And then I'm going to grab my paper snips and I'm actually just going to trim that off and I'm going to fussy cut it. Now, I know I've been using the dies, but for this card, you actually have to fussy cut. If you don't fussy cut, then you're going to end up with a big border and it's not going to have the same effect. So I'm coming in here and I'm going to fussy cut this whole flower. Now, when I fussy cut, I do want to cut kind of towards the outside edge of my black line. Like I want to still be able to see my black line, but I'm not leaving any kind of big white border around this flower. I do want it to be right up against the edges of that black, because we're going to actually put this over top of the flower we've already stamped so that we can stamp again without getting any ink inside our flower. So it's doing exactly what it sounds like. It's masking the old one. So this is a little bit slow and you want to be careful on this part because how well you fussy cut this will determine the rest of your card. All right. So you can see it's a little bit slower than my usual fussy cutting where I leave a little bit of a border. Because I don't need to be as specific and as careful when I'm leaving a bit of a border. Yeah, same concept though. It's the paper that I'm turning, not my scissors. My hand's actually resting on my tabletop and I'm just slowly closing my scissors as I twist the paper around. All right, almost done. These last few edges are a little bit faster. Okay, here we go. All right, so there we have our flower all fussy cut. So now this is the tricky part, is getting the backing off. And what's going to happen is there we go, when I peel this backing off, it's going to reveal a sticky edge. Now you'll notice that down at the bottom at my stem, I left a little bit more masking paper than I needed. That's so I can fold that over on itself and create like a little spot that I'm going to be able to easily pick this up off my page. So now that I've got that fussy cut, I'm laying that in over top of my previous image. So now I've got a flower on top of a flower. And I get to come in and do some more stamping now. So now I'm going to stamp my second flower kind of tilted slightly the other way. And you can see it went right over top of that center flower. And this one, I'm going to come in and stamp it right over top as well. So those are like layering over my center flower. And then I'll use that little piece that I left to be able to peel that up. Now, because of where I left it, I don't want to rip my stem off, so I do have to be a little bit careful. Oh no, I did rip my stem off. Darn it, that's exactly what I didn't want to do. So you do have to be a little careful taking this masking paper off that you don't wreck your mask. For what I'm going to do, I don't actually need my stem, so I'm not worried about it. If you were doing something where you did need to mask your whole image, you'd have to make a new mask if you tore it. But in my case, I don't actually need that piece. So I'm now going to layer this over the next flower over to the right and stamp yet another flower on here. And this one, my focus is to make sure it stays on my strip. So however much it needs to overlap to stay on, that's how much it overlaps. All right, and then we peel this up again. So you can see we can reuse this piece quite a bit. Come on, peel up. There we go. Awesome, and then we're going to cover up this flower here over on the other side. Nope, that didn't cover it properly. There we go. I actually line it up. There. So we've got that one covered up, and then same thing, I'm going to stamp one more flower over on this edge. And again, I'm focusing on keeping it on the paper. Don't let it overlap off the edge of the paper. So however much it has to overlap on the flower, that's what it has to do. All right, and then we can peel that up. And I can hold on to that for other cards because it's still got a lot of life in it. And now we can start adding some color to our card. So that's how masking paper works. You can do the same thing with a sticky note. You just have to be a bit more careful because it doesn't fully stick to the page and cover things. And when you're stamping and cutting it out, you have to make sure that you're stamping over top of the part that will be sticky backed on the sticky note. All right. So now we're going to add some color to this. I'm going to grab my blending brushes again, and we're going to do some colors. So I've got my Melon Mambo. Yeah, the masking is just a great thing for a lot of cards, but especially for this one. So I'm going to use my Melon Mambo and kind of just do it right over top of my first flower. That's what they're called. And you can do this as dark or as light as you'd like. And then we're done with our Melon Mambo. Actually, I'm going to add a little bit of Melon Mambo to my flower on the front of my card as well. There we go. And that's that. All right. So Melon Mambo. And then my Mango Melody. Well, actually, before I do my Mango Melody, this card I actually did... Actually, let's see what happens if I don't. I did use some Daffodil Delight when I created the original of this one, but I'm going to see what happens if I don't do that. So we've got our Mango Melody, and I'm going to do that kind of over my second card and overlapping onto the Melon Mambo that I used before. All right, that might be too orange. I might not have enough yellow on this card now. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Now my next color is going to be my Granny Apple. There we go. Yeah. Yeah. So if you like to have a bit more yellow on your card, you could put in the Daffodil Delight in there as well. I'm going to skip it this time because I didn't really leave any space for it. Whoops. All right. And now my next color is Tahitian Tide. So it's one of our in colors. Now, in our pre-order, we were only able to get one package of the baby blending brushes, so I have to use my big brush for this guy. No, that's okay. Come in. Uh-oh, that was too much. Darn it. I might just do a little trim of my paper afterwards because I got a little too much Tahitian Tide right there at the top. All right, there. And then finally, again with my big brush, because I only have my 3 littles, I am going to add in some Highland Heather as the last color in this rainbow. There we go. So really, really beautiful little rainbow that we've created. And you can add as much as little of each color you want, just to make that kind of deeper or softer, however you enjoy your rainbows. And so once we've done that, this piece gets attached to a strip of basic black, and we just do that with liquid glue or whatever adhesive you enjoy using. And actually, once we've got that on the black, I can't see that blue stain too much, so I'll just leave it. All right. So some liquid glue on here. And so it's just got a little border top and bottom. There we go. And mine's just a little bit long, but I'm not going to trim it yet. I'm actually going to attach this to my card front first. My card front has been embossed with the gingham embossing folder. And so I'm going to attach that also with liquid glue. And right across the center. There we go. All right, now that piece that I attached is just a little bit long. So I'm going to come in here and just use some paper snips from the inside and follow the edge of the card and trim that up. There we go. So voila. Now the last thing to do is to add our sentiment. So again, whatever sentiment is going to work for you works on this card. That's the joy of this card. So for me, I'm doing another birthday card because that's what I need. So I'm going to use my Powder Pal first, or not my Powder Pal, my Embossing Buddy. It's part of the Embossing Additions Toolkit. So I'm going to use that, and then I'm going to grab my Happy Birthday. Now I do need to clean this up because I did stamp it in black ink. So let's clean that up on my shell. And then grab some Versamark. There we go. Ink up my Happy Birthday. And again, I love that I can see right through here to be able to line this up so nicely. Stamp my Versamarked Happy Birthday onto that piece. And then I'm just going to use my tweezers for this part because I don't want to get my fingers in my embossing powder. I'm going to hold my sentiment and just run it through. Oops, maybe I can't. It's not sturdy enough. Okay, so run that through my embossing powder. Oops, I might have been a little wiggly when I did that. My happy is quite thick. All right, I'm going to have to do a little bit of work to clean that up because I did not stamp a clean image apparently. So first thing you can do is your additions toolkit comes with a paintbrush. For any of these larger bits off to the side, you can use the paintbrush to wipe those away. But now in my happy, I have all those little bits. So can't go in there with a paintbrush, I'd take away too much. So I'm going in with my take your pick tool, and I'm going to carve away the pieces that I don't want in there. And so you're literally just picking these up grain by grain and removing what you don't want on your black. All right. So a little bit of patience required for this. The slower you go, the more precise you'll be able to be, the more you'll like the final result. There we go, just about there. I just want those letters to actually be defined. And there we go. So you do need to be careful when you're doing your stamping, that you're stamping a nice clear image when you're embossing. There we go. All right. All right, there we go. Much happier with that. All right, so now I will use my tweezers to hold this because I'm going to be heating this up and I don't want to get my hands all burnt. All right, so there you have it. We've got that all heated up. So now I'm going to take my paper snips and just cut the edges on a diagonal like that. There we go. And I'm going to attach that sentiment to the front of my card using some dimensionals. So I'll flip that over, got my dimensionals, and right there. You could use 2 or 3 on this one. It's a little bit long, so I'll probably use the 3 to really hold it in place. And there we go. And then this one, I just slightly overlap it over the bottom of that. There we go. And that is our third card all finished. So really nice, easy technique, easy to do with lots of different images as well. So I'll just bring in all 3 cards for you again so you can see. You'll end up with 6 cards at the end of the class, 2 of each. And here's our first one. There we go. So a giant bunch of birthday cards that we got created here today, and thank you cards. And that is the Happiness Abounds card class. So I hope you guys enjoyed that one. And I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful holiday. I won't be live again now until after Christmas. Next Wednesday, I'll be live with my next card class to go. But that is about it. Oh, thank you so much. So yeah, if you want to get your hands on these, you can get the make and take with a $50 purchase before December 25th. And then next Wednesday, I do all the cutting and mail them out. So today I'm mailing out last week's card class, the Nothing's Better Than. So yeah, and with a $70 purchase, I'll also add in a package of dimensionals with your card kit this week, because as you can see, you need them for all of the cards, and everybody needs some extra dimensionals. So yeah, have a wonderful, wonderful holiday. I hope you all can get to where you're going with all of this snow and spend some time with family. And we'll see you next week. Bye.